Good evening, everybody, here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. A wet, cold Monday evening, but it's going to be fun. We've got A.W. Hamilton on to talk some EKU basketball. Plus, we'll update and preview the Jack Burford Chevrolet Classic coming up later on this week. It'll be a fun show. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings. If you're out and about, come out, hang out with us, talk sports here at Buffalo Wild Wings. So here we are live on WBON TV. This is the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Sports fans, the wait is over. For the next hour, sit back and enjoy the ride on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Share your thoughts and opinions on the live feed on WBON TV, and stay tuned for everything you need to know about your local sports teams, college and pro sports as well. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show is served up by Buffalo Wild Wings and brought to you in part by the law office of Patrick O'Neill. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
Good evening, everyone. Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins here. Samantha, let's jump right in. We got some EKU basketball to talk about. Coach, first of all, let's talk about the start of the season. You guys have had a rough schedule, a lot of road games, seems like. You just come off a loss to Louisville over the weekend, number one team in the country, just a couple of weeks ago. So talk about how things have gone for you guys so far.
You know what, we've had some bumps in the road. We've had a little bit of everything that's happened to us. We've faced a lot of adversity with a few injuries and guys being a little banged up. But, I'm proud of how we've responded. We played really well versus Northern Kentucky, and they got a really good team. We outplayed them for about 34 minutes of the game, and then the last 6 minutes, they showed their maturity and beat us down the stretch. And then, obviously, Louisville's really good. They got a really good team. We did some really good things. The thing I was happy with is how we fought and competed for 40 minutes. They're going to beat a lot of teams, and they're going to make a lot of teams look bad. So, but we did some really good things, and I was proud of how we responded.
Let's talk about the upcoming schedule. You got a few more games before conference play begins. Got a big one versus Marshall this Thursday. Then you return home on Saturday. So talk about those games and as far as the Saturday game goes, let's try to get the fans out there. Christmas time's right around the corner, so it's a good time. Maybe you got some family coming in to come out and watch the Colonels. Yeah,
listen, we haven't been at home forever. So we're going to Marshall on Thursday. They got a really good team. They're a little different than they were last year. They had two really, really good guards, and those guys are gone. So they're trying to find themselves right now. But we'll go to their place on Thursday and then come home and play Charleston Southern on Saturday. It's going to be so nice to be at home. Yeah. I don't remember the last home game we had. I think it was maybe Alice Lloyd or something. Yeah. It's been so long since we played at home, so we're pumped up to get back home.
Whenever you got the schedule, do you put that together? Do you guys work with the athletic director to put that schedule together as far as the home games going into the conference play?
We do. We all got a little piece of it. And this year, sometimes it just is what it is.
Yeah.
We got 5 home games in our non-conference schedule. We play 13 games, and we could only get 5. So we're tied into a few contracts. We had a contract with Marshall, Northern Kentucky, so we had to play those games. And then we got into an MTE where we played FIU and Cleveland State on the road. So it's kind of part, scheduling is a really difficult thing, especially for us right now. So we hope as we continue to build a program, it'll kind of turn into our favor as we keep going forward.
Keeping on talk with your schedule, you guys have had a tough schedule. How do you feel like the schedule is going to play out, helping you into the conference?
I hope it really helps us, because it's all about conference play for us. Our season will basically start over in January. We'll be 0-0 in OVC play, and it's all about OVC play for us. What we want to do is put ourselves in position to play in the OVC tournament, because then you're in an 8-team tournament, and you win that, and you get an opportunity to play in the big tournament. So we got to just continue to get better, chip away these next 3 games, get better, keep improving in a lot of areas we need to improve on, and get ready to play in our conference. In our conference play, we start our first 4 games at home.
That's a big deal. That is a really big, because you got a lot of young guys, so it's good to have them kind of get those home games under their belt in the early conference play to kind of see what conference play is all about.
Yeah, and so last year it was the opposite way. We had a really good non-conference. We went 7-6 and had some really big wins. And then we get into conference play. We open up. We go to Austin Peay, to Murray State, to Tennessee State, to Belmont on the road. So we got off to an 0-4 start. So we hope that we can flip that this year and get off to a great start and put ourselves in position to make the OVC tournament and do, and play for a championship.
Well, you guys are playing every state school in Kentucky. Do you feel like that you're going to continue doing that even next year? I mean, it's kind of fun for the fans. Is it fun for you guys?
Well, it's not as much fun for me, because those have been some. We've played the #1 team twice.
Twice now.
Twice. So
Big lights.
yeah. So no, but it's been great for us. It's the third time in the history of the state it's happened. So it's going to be tough to duplicate that again. But it's been great. You know, we've learned a lot about ourselves in both the Kentucky game and the Louisville game. So it's been good, and you know, and we hope it helps us with recruiting our state.
As far as relationships go, do you have a relationship with Chris Mack or John Calipari? Do you have a relationship with those guys that maybe you can, you know, do you talk to them, or maybe is there other coaches that you talk to that you worked with before?
So I actually played for Chris Mack at Wake Forest.
Okay.
So I've known him for a long time. He's a great guy. And then when we had the opportunity to play every state school, Louisville was kind of the missing piece. And we just called him. I said, Coach, listen, we're going to play all the Division I teams. Will you play us? And they gave us a big check to come over there and play. And, you know, so we.
And you're like, I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. It helps us. So, you know, but it's good. But, you know, this is a relationship business. And, you know, so, you know, obviously Chris Mack did us a favor, and we went over there and played.
As far as conference play goes, Belmont seems like they're the Jacksonville State of the football side. They're having a good year this year. I think they're off to a 7-3 start. So what do you see as far as conference play goes? What's going to be your toughest challenge, and what do you want to see from your team in those first 4 home games in conference play?
Well, you know, the OVC is a challenge. You know, you get 9 home games, you get 9 away games. There are tough places to play when you go on the road. And then, you know, everybody in our league is trying to fight to get in the OVC tournament. We have 12 teams and only 8 make the OVC tournament. So every game is a really big game. But there's obviously some huge challenges. But I love what our team is doing. We've made major strides in our last 2 games. And we got to keep getting our young guys better. Michael Marino is really coming on. He made his first career start against Louisville on his birthday against the Cardinals.
Okay.
How ironic,
even
you know.
cooler.
Yeah.
But he's coming along. You know, he missed all of preseason. He missed the whole summer. So
is he healthy now? Is he?
Yeah, he's healthy. He's got his body weight down to about 212 pounds. He's moving around a lot better. So I'm happy with what he's doing. Darius Hicks is, you know, where he just hadn't played in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's kind of finding his way. So we're doing some really good things, and I'm happy with where we're going.
So you feel like this team on schedule, improving every game, you see better, I guess, attributes to each game.
Listen, I'm like every coach in the country. I want more wins.
Yeah.
You know, and I look back at a couple games we let get away from us, but it happens.
Yeah.
You know, this is basketball.
Especially when you're young, too, and on the road. I mean, all those things going into it.
Yeah, so.
You don't have that home field advantage, I guess.
But
home court, I guess I should say.
But we're getting better. Our guys are moving the ball better. We're turning people over. I think we're number 2 in the country in forced turnovers. We're number 4 in the country in steals per game. So we're doing some positive things. Now, I'm proud of that because those are effort things.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not playing hard and selling out every game, you can't do that. You can't be number 2 in the country in forced turnovers and number 4 in the country in steals. You can't do it. So we're playing really hard. We're competing like crazy. We just got to keep getting a little bit better.
And free throws. I think you're doing
we're shooting free throws really well.
Yes,
really,
you're shooting
really
the
well.
lights out on free throws.
I think we're number 2 in our league in free throw percentage,
Well, we've seen in some of our high school games, free throws, obviously they're uber important, but especially whenever you come down those close games, you got to have those free throws go for you. Talk about the team as far as injuries go. Where do you stand as far as some of the injuries that you've seen early on in the season?
So we've had some tough breaks. Listen, you know, Peyton Broughton, he got hurt in our preseason practices, sprained his MCL. He was kind of on track to come back, and then we took a minor setback. So we're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with him. Houston King, he had a knee injury in our second game versus Kentucky and is just now coming back. But, you know, again, neither one of those guys are healthy right now. So we've kind of had to move some things around and play some different people in different spots. So, but again, look, I could sit here and say, hey, that's why we are where we are. It's not. You know, this is basketball.
Yeah.
You know, other guys got to step up and play, and I've got to do a good job of putting the guys in the right position. So we've had a couple injuries to 2 key guys, but that's okay. And our younger guys are getting better. It's presented more time for Michael Marino, and I got to figure out how to play Tyreek Ballaghan, one of our other freshmen, a little bit more.
When you look at, you know, how your schedule breaks down, obviously you got these 4 home games, and EKU fans to me, they're fickle. If you lose a couple of games, they're down. They stop showing up. But you guys last year, even through kind of a rough season, the fans continue to come out and support you guys. What would you tell them to get them to come back out this year as conference play begins to watch you all? Because it seems like, like I said, it's been a month or so since you all were even at home.
Yeah, listen, I've had so many phone calls, text messages, emails. There's 7 to 10 people that come to all our practices, and we've got so much support right now. I don't think that I've got to beg them to come back. I know they're coming. They love how this team competes, and they appreciate how hard they play and how they represent the university. So I expect them to keep coming back. They've been so great up to this point. They were awesome throughout the whole year last year. So we ended up being second in our league in attendance, and I think we'll be right up at the top this year.
That's cool. Well, Eastern, they just had finals this past week. So now this starting, I guess, Saturday or Sunday or even today, you guys get to practice more. What will you do different?
Well, last week our focus was academics and finishing strong with finals.
Right.
So we had to get away from practice a little bit in our strength and conditioning program. We're now, all the way from now to January 13th until we start up classes, we're under no time restriction. So we can get back in the weight room. We can get back in individual workouts, our skill development, player development sessions, and practice. So it gives us more time we can spend in the film room and spend with the guys, and it gives us time they get to spend with each other, which is important. So we got the whole team coming over tonight. We'll do a little Christmas party tonight.
Okay.
We just get to spend more time together.
We weren't invited?
No, you guys are always invited. I thought y'all got the text message.
Did you not get it?
I'm
going.
Get it. I didn't. Oh, I am now.
I got me dressed up as Santa Claus, actually. So,
So really, you're going to be living, breathing EKU basketball until.
Well, that's all I do anyway.
Yeah. Well, it is true. That's what they're going to be
doing.
doing.
My wife was listening, she would kill me, and my family. But that's all I do. I love our team. I love our kids. These guys are fighters, and they're going to fight to the end of the season.
I guess with regulations, it really starts today. Today's Monday. It wouldn't have been Saturday or Sunday, I guess, or does it? I mean, I figured they do the week.
Well, talk about obviously, basketball is the forefront right now, but we just hired a new football coach. Obviously the season we had last year, fans, kind of looking to Walt Wells now as the new head man. Have you talked to Walt? How are things going with the football program now in transition with the new head coach again?
Yeah, no, I had a chance to go over to the press conference. I thought he did an awesome job at the press conference. He's an Eastern guy. So I think he's going to hit the ground running. I know he and I have texted back and forth and been in some communication, but he's recruiting guys. That's the most important thing he's got to do right now.
We tried to get him on. They said he's got a 2-week period left, before he can has to stop recruiting. So he's got to hit the ground running literally after he got hired there.
Yeah,
so
he's going to do a great job, though. There's so much tradition here. We got great fans. We got great support. We got great facilities. He's going to do awesome. He understands all that. He understands the tradition, and he's going to be great for us.
Yeah, and he's already got a lot of, Coach Kidd, he's got a lot of people that already know his style and know how he does and the tradition, like you mentioned. He's already got some fans, so that's exciting. He knows that coming in.
Yeah, and the fans know him too because he's been around the program for a while, and he's been around. He's been around Kentucky. He was at Western for a while, so he's been around local football for quite some time. So having him, he knows the tradition. He knows Coach Kidd, and Coach Kidd, listen, he was super excited to have Walt Wells as the new head coach. So
it's one of his own.
Yeah, and I think Coach Kidd, he wants to be around the program, and with Coach Elder, he wasn't really around the program as much. So I think he'll feel like he's welcomed back in with open arms with Coach Wells now as the head guy.
Well, I was trying to hire Coach Kidd as my assistant. I guess he's going to turn the job down now.
He probably is. He might be a little busy now.
That's a bummer.
So you got
keeping him busy.
The next home game Saturday again. Just talk about the Marshall game before we let you go, and tell fans what to expect in this home game for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks.
So Marshall, they've had a really good run the last 4 or 5 years, and are coming off 2 of the best seasons in program history. They're a little bit different than they were last year because they lost 2 really good guards, but it's going to be a Conference USA school on the road. Tough environment, so it's going to be a big challenge for us. And then we come back home and we play Charleston Southern, who will be a great opponent for us, and it'll be a really, really competitive game. So if you love basketball, you love watching kids play extremely hard, play fast, press, and get after it, I think you should come on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some fun.
There you go, Coach. The family will be in town. Bring the family out, cheer on the Colonels as they take on Charleston Southern?
Charleston Southern. I think it's ugly sweater night, too.
Okay. Well,
bring your
if you
ugly
don't have
Christmas
any
sweater.
of those, I worked with Sean Hamilton for quite some time. That guy's got a bunch of them in his
wears them
closet,
to
so
work
have him
all the
bring
time.
them
Hey, I
for
wore
you,
my
so.
maroon today. I can wear this Saturday.
Well, we'll take a short commercial break. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Good
y'all.
luck this
Appreciate
weekend
it.
as the
Thank you.
Colonels get set. And love to have you on maybe after conference play begins, talk about how
Absolutely.
conference play is going
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
We'll take a short commercial break and come right back. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on a wet Monday on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's the time of year we've all been waiting for. It's time again for the Jack Burford Chevrolet Holiday Classic Basketball Tournament at Madison Central High School in Richmond, Kentucky. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Holiday Classic dates are Thursday, December 19th through the evening of Sunday, December 22nd. For more information and ticket info, visit jackburford.com.
We can't wait to see you here for all the great holiday basketball action.
That's right, John. Go Indians, and good luck to all the teams.
We are back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Samantha, it's a cold, wet, 2 days in a row where it's been just raining all day long, I feel like. A little bit of flooding issue here
I feel
in
like we
Richmond.
need a boat.
It's looking like it might be that way.
I can't imagine bringing these cameras, the computers, the lighting, all this equipment. You guys do a great job bringing it all in here. I'm sure you got wet.
Yeah.
I got wet coming in.
You
I had to
come
bring
in.
my stuff.
You did have to bring your light in. You do light the world up when you come in.
Don't
The
I?
brightness makes it all much better when you come in. But speaking of
You're
being
being
bright,
nice.
listen, on the weekend we had some really good high school basketball
We
games.
have been
Throughout the
busy.
week, we've been really busy. We had the Southern Estill County game Tuesday night,
And that was
Friday night.
fantastic the whole game
It
through.
was. Same thing Friday night. Estill
Barn
County,
burner.
Bell County coming down to the
Yes.
wire. Joe Benton hitting the game-winning shot. We'll talk about that here in a few moments as well. Austin's got some highlights from all these games. But on Saturday, we had the Bill Smallwood Classic with,
Yes.
with Estill County, Southern, and Berea. And then tonight, we have got girls action for you. So we're not going to be live on WBON, but if you're a fan of Madison Central or Berea girls, those two teams square off in Berea tonight. Tom Gross and Jamie Boggs will have the call for you this evening. They'll be live over in Berea. You can listen to that game on 106.7 The Dog or excuse me, 106.7 The Pinnacle, the new
It's
Berea
Pinnacle
station.
now. Oh, see,
Still not
it's
used
hard,
to saying it.
it's hard to
Still
change
not
it
used
up.
to saying it. But
And I noticed we got the new signs on our vehicle, like we're going
Yeah.
all out. The Pinnacle.
Listen, we were over in Berea on Tuesday for the Madison Southern Estill County game. Really good game. Chad Fugit, 24 points for Southern, 9 points for Jonah Wooten. And Estill County coming out on top with a big victory over there in the matchup between two former teammates, Austin Newton and John Bentley. Final score was 64-53. It was the second straight loss for Southern. They had lost to Trinity on Friday, coming back another home loss to Estill County. But Austin
The
Newton,
Trinity loss was hard.
Exactly, and he talked about it. He talked about how his
Yes,
team
when I
had
interviewed
kind
him.
of, they kind of gave not only everything they had, they gave everything the entire school had. They poured their heart and soul out into that Trinity game on Friday, and they just didn't have a chance to recover for the
No,
game.
they had a little bit
of
of what Austin Newton called a hangover.
Yeah.
That's what he said to me when I interviewed him. But he expected it, and a good coach does. They expect that. But it was still a great game.
You could see it. They had a lot of open shots that just didn't
They
go
just
down on
missed
their
them.
home floor. But what they did is they turned things around. On Friday, they defeated Woodford County 93-68. And on Saturday, in the Bill Smallwood Classic, they absolutely lit it up. They hit 12 three-pointers in the game against Barberville on Saturday. Chad Fugit had 24 points. He had
He's
19
had a big week.
for Hunter Buchanan. You had 16 from Jonah Wooten. I mean, everybody was knocking down threes. Hunter Buchanan knocked down 5 three-pointers. And Jonah Wooten knocked down 3 of 3 from the three-point line. So those guys could not miss from deep. Chad Fugate knocked down a couple of threes. As a team, again, they hit 12 of them. And you could just see when this team is knocking down their three-pointers, they are a completely different team.
They were very confident looking.
The one thing that stuck out to me in the game on Saturday was Kobe Sebastian, the point guard.
Yes.
I mean, he is a firecracker. That's how I would describe him because the kid plays
Newton
tough
would
defense.
call him that too.
He plays really good defense. He had 10 assists in the game on Saturday. And he's kind of coming from nowhere because he didn't play at all last year.
Right.
He was on the team, just didn't get no playing time.
Right.
Walter Smith was the point guard, and Walt's still playing, but now Sebastian and him kind of splitting the role of being the point guard along with Britton Robinson. But Sebastian playing very well right now for Austin Newton.
And they need him.
They do, because he provides defense. He provides an intensity that a lot of guys really can't bring. You know, you've got Chad Fugate, Hunter Buchanan. Those guys are really good basketball players, but they out there, they do their job. They shoot threes. They play good defense. Sebastian is one of those guys that just brings a certain level of intensity on the floor.
Yeah,
and
agree.
I think Austin Newton loves that because you got a guy out there that will literally, I mean, he will slide 100 feet down the floor if he's got to go for a loose ball.
And he's talked about that. He's talked about that's what he wants in his team, to give it their all every second that they're out there on that floor. And he'll play deep, so if you're not giving it, he's going to go to somebody else that will.
We've seen him play the platoon system. He really went into that in the game against Barberville on Saturday, going 5 in, 5 out. Whoever's playing, playing well, stay out there, keep your guys fresh. Did a really good job with that in the game on Saturday. So they've won a couple in a row now after losing to Estill County on Tuesday. Speaking of Estill County, they have won now 3 straight, beginning with the win over Madison Southern, 64-53. Then they knock off Bell County 57-55 after Joe Benton hit a game-winning shot on Friday night as the Engineers knock off the Bobcats. It was a really good game down to the wire once again.
That's why he's the leader of the team.
Capped off a 29-point night with that game winner. And Danny Wood, William Hardy on the call.
I bet
the
they
great
went
duo.
nuts.
They were just loving it because, I mean, listen, Joe had really had a slow start to the season. 29-point night. He knocks down the game winner.
They lost
he had
2
3
in a row.
three-pointers. Yeah, and I think just seeing him play well gives the team confidence because now Landon Napier's playing well. You got the Beeler kid off the bench playing really well. Isford and Click playing both sides of the floor well. So if they can be consistent and stay out of foul trouble, because they only play 6 guys, 6 or 7 guys. So they have to do a good job of staying out of foul trouble. And if Joe can put up those kind of numbers, 25, 29, 30 points on any given night, then Estill County can be a really hard team to beat, especially over there in the 14th region. Now, the Engineers, they will be back in action later on this week, as I pull it up here. They will be taking on Owsley County on the road tomorrow in their first district game. Then they will be playing in the Berea All-A Holiday Classic coming up later on this week as well. So we may potentially have some games from that, depending on what matchups there are. If there's a championship game between, maybe Berea and Estill County, we will go over there and cover that as well during the Berea All-A Holiday Classic.
I'm anxious to see if Joe can do that consistently, night in, night out. That will be extremely difficult. If anybody can do it, he can do it.
Well, I've got faith in Joe. It's just teams key on him so much because he is the leading scorer. He's one of the best players in the 14th region. So when you have that, a double team or throwing 3 or 4 different guys at you during the ball game, it makes it much more difficult to kind of get the game under wraps or to kind of take over a game when you're being double or triple teamed like Joe is on some nights. But now, what I've seen from Landon Napier, and listen, I was on the coaching staff at Estill County a few years ago at the middle school. Landon was an 8th grader, and you could just tell this kid is born to score the basketball. He reminds me in some ways of Caleb Bonney. He was there, a major part, or maybe the biggest major part of that 14th Region Championship team a few years ago.
Yes, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Well, Napier kind of reminds me of him as just a guy who can score. Whenever you need a basket, that guy can go in, he can penetrate, he can knock down open threes. He's a gym rat, and I think that's what you see with Landon Napier. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Caleb Bonney that was there, who was the driving force of that 14th Region Championship team a couple of years ago whenever they won their first ever 14th Region Championship. As far as Berea goes, the Pirates off to a good start as well. They knocked off they were 5-0 to begin the season, lost to Pineville 78-73 in the Bill Smallwood Classic. Of course, they'll be in action during the Berea All-A Holiday Classic as well. But Eric Swords has his team playing very well, and this team is dangerous because they get up and down the floor, if they are knocking down their shots, they are very hard to beat because they don't have anybody that can't shoot. Everybody's got the green light. They get the ball out and they go with it. And if you're not ready to play that kind of style, you could get blown out of the gym by Berea. They've knocked off teams 83-18, 80-38, 100-30. They're beating teams by 30 or 40 points every night out.
They've got the height. They've got the people in the front court that can do it.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing for Berea because they've never really been a team that's had a lot of size.
Right.
But when you had the two kids, Dorsey and Smith, who we had on the sports show a few weeks ago, that gives them a chance every single game, night in and night out. Now, on Saturday, as Austin can pull up for us, do you got the Madison Central Somerset game? You got the highlights of that one for us? You can pull it up. Madison Central, they took on Somerset. It was a game that went to overtime. It was the Brent Ray Classic. And Central started off 2-0, but they've lost 3 straight. And this game versus Somerset into overtime, 71-66. You can really see the younger guys still trying to find their way under Coach Alan Feldhouse. Missed a lot of free throws late, but this team, whenever Braden Ray and Cole Brown are playing well, they are very dangerous.
What about this Brent Ray Classic? I mean, what a night. You know, he announced that on our show several weeks ago. It's such a good thing. It used to be called the
Central Bank Classic. Now it is the Brent Ray Classic sponsored by Central Bank.
And what a nice way. I mean, if you think about it, the youngest, he had 2 sons. One plays for Central and one is an 8th grader at Cottle. And he was able to play in this Brent Ray Classic.
Yeah, and to me, I think, it was an emotional day. They had a ceremony for all for the team, for the family, and Braden Ray, his son, had to be an emotional day for him. Listen, I mean, you got to give credit to Braden Ray for just being a kid, losing your dad, and, I mean, you got to continue to remember that family in your thoughts and prayers, because that was an emotional day for them to go out there and to have this game, this classic. I feel for Braden Ray, but I think this will only make him a stronger person, a stronger, basketball player, because he has to, kind of pull it together and now kind of be the man of the house out there with, his father passing away. So just continue to remember them in your thoughts and prayers, because they can continue to need those. And I couldn't imagine. I just could not imagine what they are going through.
And they've got a lot of support from their church and from their family and their friends. And he's got the younger brother is in 7th grade. So, it would be very difficult, especially around the holidays.
Yeah.
But to know that your coach was best friends with him, they talk daily. Coach Feldhouse talks so highly of him on our show, and it's amazing to think that now your basketball coach is going to be like almost like a second dad to you.
Yeah, and I think when you look at, how things are now between coaches and players, and you see it with, just last week I talked to Steve Roof, the baseball coach. They do a thing every year called Team Santa, which we'll have a story up on WBON later on this week, possibly tomorrow if we can get it done, about how they pick a certain family every single year during Christmas time, and all the seniors get together, they raise money, and they buy gifts for that family. And this year it was actually one of their own players that they did this for. They call it Team Santa. They go out, they surprise the family with gifts that they had bought with their own money. It's a very, very cool thing that they do. So I went down, I talked to some of the players on this year's team, some of the former players, and I interviewed Coach Roof about the Team Santa thing that they do every single year. That story will be up tomorrow on WBON. And just a cool thing that they do. And the baseball team, but what I was going to get to is you see a lot of these coaches nowadays, they want to take it upon themselves to teach these kids more about life than the sport that they play. And at the high, you see what with Austin Newton doing, Man Up Monday.
Man Up Mondays. That's right. We talked about that.
And you see with the baseball team doing this Team Santa thing, and it's awesome to see, because back when I played, it wasn't just about the sport, but you didn't see all these other things going on. Now with the the increased popularity of social media and everything, it kind of helps you bring it out into the forefront. And I love, just last week we saw the Berea college teams skipping a holiday party and doing other things like this with other people in the community. So it's cool to see all this stuff being tied in.
Right.
And I love seeing these coaches do stuff like this with these players
and no matter
to teach
what
them
it
more
is,
about life.
Football, basketball, baseball, swimming. I mean, they're all doing it. And even Coach Feldhouse, I know at one time had a player living with him off and on. So,
well, I think what it is these coaches know that some of these kids, first of all, they may not have the best home life, or they may not be able to get and do what they want, or whatever the case may be.
Get their homework.
So for them to step up and really take more part of these kids' lives, it's really special. And to me, this is why I think we have the best coaches in the community around, whether it be in Estill County, Madison County here, because these guys do a really good job on the court, on the field, and more importantly, off the court and off the field.
And we hear about it every week, especially with Coach Clark during football season at Southern. He has constantly been doing things like this, not just with the words every week that he gives, that they learn from. And this is a word, this is our word of the week, and this is what it means, and this is how we're going to evaluate our team this week and learn from this word. It's amazing how they are coachable and coaching these teams.
Well, we've got Mr. Coach Cooks who's just walked in, so we'll take a short commercial break. We'll come in, we'll talk to him about some of the ongoings at Madison Central. He is the new athletic director at Madison Central.
Yeah, we got to have him on the show.
So we'll talk to him here in a few moments. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings on a wet, cold Monday night, folks. Don't go anywhere. Hanging
Just
out
watch
with
this
you here.
show. Don't go anywhere.
We'll come right back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings. The best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's the time of year we've all been waiting for. It's time again for the Jack Burford Chevrolet Holiday Classic Basketball Tournament at Madison Central High School in Richmond, Kentucky. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Holiday Classic dates are Thursday, December 19th through the evening of Sunday, December 22nd. For more information and ticket info, visit jackburford.com.
We can't wait to see you here for all the great holiday basketball action.
That's right, John. Go Indians, and good luck to all the teams.
Welcome back into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live at Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't forget, you can buy that gift card, Samantha, $25 gift card. You get the $5 bonus card when you come in here to Buffalo Wild Wings. And
you're getting me one for Christmas.
I might get you one, as long as you bring me out to eat with it.
He's never got me a Christmas present.
We've had a few. We've placed a few wagers, and I think Robbie would believe
Do you really need to go there?
Well, I won them all. Then I kind of felt bad.
Me too.
I won 3. The last one, you just bought me like a Boston Celtics keychain. We called it even. So.
Is that not good enough?
I guess it is. Well, Mr. Coach, first of all, let's talk about Madison Central. A lot of stuff going on right now. First of all, let's talk about the Brent Ray Classic. You all just had it over the weekend, a very busy all-day event, and it seemed like it was a lot of stuff going on at the high school.
Yeah, we had, we had the Brent Ray Classic on Saturday. Coach Feldhouse arranged for some of our feeder middle schools to play a couple of games earlier in the day, and then we had our JV and freshmen played, and then we had 2 varsity games. So it was a long day, but it was a really, really good day. It was a good way to celebrate Brent Ray's life and all that he meant to not only Madison Central but the community of Richmond.
Especially middle school. I mean, he was a middle school coach. I mean, he played basketball. We talked about it before we went on the air. Before you came on with us, it's just such a amazing contribution, and I think it's such a wonderful idea that Coach Feldhouse thought of this and implemented it.
Yeah, I think it was really, really special to him. Brent being a player his first year at Madison Central, and then him and Brent being so close personally after he graduated, and I think it was just a good way to remember him, a good tribute to his family. Brent was a couple of years younger than me. He was a really, really fine fellow, and I know that his family was very appreciative of everything that they did. So I just think it was something that you could carry on and continue to do every year. I think Central Bank was really, really happy to do it. So I just thought it was really nice.
Well, talk about the other sports. You got the Jack Burford Chevrolet Classic coming up. You being the coach for so long, you've been involved with that for a while anyway, but it's a big deal because you have all these other schools and families come into Richmond, so it's good for the school, first of all. It's good for the community because you have a lot of families coming in that probably have to stay here in Richmond for a 3 or 4 day stretch.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to kind of help raise money in the community as well.
It is. I kind of like to think this is my baby. I think we started this about 4 years ago. I'd known John and Samantha for quite a while, and our kids had swam together.
Sorry about that, by the way.
Our kids had swam together, and with him having 3 girls and me having 2 girls, we kind of talked and said, hey, there's not a lot for as far as basketball goes. There's not a lot going on during the Christmas season for girls basketball. So it's kind of something that he was really, really happy to support. And I think it's really grown. It's really taken off. We've had some really, really good games there. Madison Central, what we try and do is we do this classic. It's basically...
It's not a tournament, right?
No. Basically, you come and for me, it was always good as a coach to do this because you knew a couple of weeks in advance who you were going to play. You knew when you were going to play. There was nothing left to be determined. And whereas when you're in a tournament, sometimes you just, it kind of depends on whether you win or lose. So we started it this way and have maintained it. You've got teams. What we've always tried to do is get local teams, but we also want to get teams. We've had teams from Western Kentucky. We have teams from Eastern Kentucky. I think this year Coach Lovely's got Breathitt County coming up. I mean, we get teams that are going to come up.
I wrote them all down.
You've got Harlan, you've got Henry Clay, you've got Rockcastle, Bourbon, Lafayette. So you've got a little bit of local flavor. Mm-hmm. But then again, you've got some teams that typically you wouldn't see play in Central Kentucky. So, you've got teams that are going to come and stay. They're going to, obviously bring their families. They're going to bring monetary resources to hotels, to restaurants. It's great
tourism dollars.
Yeah.
Well, really and I think it's kind of cool because, first of all, the head coach at Breathitt County, Derek Goff, he was 2 years younger. We went to Jackson City together. He's 2 years younger than me in school. That was where I got my start, was calling Breathitt County basketball games, girls, boys, football, whatever it was. So I'm excited to be on the air Saturday when Madison Central plays Breathitt County at 1 o'clock in the JBC Classic. That'll be a lot of fun. A lot of these schools that don't play each other, and that was one thing that Coach Lovely told me over the week, or last week, was that it's matchups that you normally wouldn't see.
Right.
It's a different brand of basketball. You got mountain basketball. I think he said he was from Harlan County. So it's kind of cool to see these matchups that you might not normally see on the hardwood.
Right. It's, for me, it's you're talking about Breathitt County. My mother and father-in-law are both from Breathitt County.
Okay.
So, my father-in-law led Breathitt County to 3 Sweet 16s. This is going to be like a homecoming for him. Breathitt County coming up. He knows a lot of people. A lot of his brothers and sisters still live back there. So it's, I thought it was pretty neat that Breathitt County reached out this past year and wanted to play. So that was definitely a team that we wanted to get involved.
Yeah, and I know they're a young team right now. They just played against Estill County last week, and I think Derek Goff is a good guy for that job because he's been around the game of basketball for a long time. He coached middle school basketball up there, so I think they'll be a good matchup for Central on Saturday. Swim team, you said your daughter is on the swim team, and they've been very busy. I know right now you don't think of swimming because it's cold outside and raining,
but it's all indoor.
A lot of stuff going on with that as well.
Yeah, we just had the I guess they call it the Madison County Championships a couple of weeks ago. We've got 7 or 8 meets still left that we have to swim. Our coach has done a really good job. Coach Stratman has done a great job of, building the culture and actually getting kids out that are not club swimmers. Some kids are new to the sport, and I think it's been really, really beneficial. It's really neat to see some of these kids. You see them, maybe at the beginning of the year, and they're just not learning how to swim, but they're learning how to swim correctly in a competition mode. And then you see them 2 or 3 weeks later, and you're like, wow, this kid's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
You guys got some dominating girl team for Central.
I think our girls team is pretty strong. Our boys team is young. We've got a lot of new kids, boys-wise. that are, that are swimming for us. Girls, even though we've got some girls that are juniors and sophomores, they're still veterans because a lot of them have been swimming like my daughter she's been swimming since she was in 5th grade. So, you've got some older, more mature, and kids who have kind of been there and done that. So that helps a lot. Swimming is it's a different sport. It's very much an individual sport, but when you get to a meet where it's Madison Central versus Madison Southern or Berea or Tate's Creek or just whoever you're up against, it does become a team event because you want to try individually to do as best as you can to score as many points as you can for your team.
Talk about, how the district or region or how the competition goes as far as that, because I would imagine not every school can field a swim team or a relay team or whatever it is. So how do those, as far as the alignment go, how does that shake out?
Well, right now the region that we are in, we used to be in the same region with all the Lexington schools up until about 2 or 3 years ago, and then they realigned. And now we are kind of the very top of our region, and it goes south. So when we have our regional swim meet at EKU here in about 2 months, you're going to see teams like Corbin, Ashland, all the way down to the Tennessee state line will come up to Madison County and swim. And then the region right beside us is going to be all your Lexington schools, and it's going to be Montgomery County, Clark County, things like that. So they've realigned things, number one, because really throughout the state there's not a lot of access to pools. So that's what they've done is they've made it easier for those teams in the South to get to a bigger venue to swim.
Makes sense.
And, whereas there's really not a big venue down there for them to swim in the region. So, the Kentucky High School Athletic Association has brought them all up here to Eastern. And I think it's made a big difference. So you're going to see some teams that have a really, really big team. Ashland always has a really good team. Madison Central always has a really good team. Model always has a really good team. And then you're going to see some teams that come in that may only have 5 or 6 swimmers. Yeah. And obviously, team-wise, they're not going to score a ton of points, but because it's an individual sport, you still get to capitalize on that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the individual races.
Sounds a little bit like golf as far as that aspect goes.
Very
how
much
you
so.
lay it out.
Very much so. Except I think even in golf, you still have that issue a lot of times. You don't have the 4 or 5 kids you need to make a team, but you might have 1 or 2 good players.
Yeah.
All right, well, the next 2 sports we need to talk about, Madison Central cheerleading.
Yeah.
You were there.
I was.
They just won state this past Saturday with a solid performance.
Should we just pencil it in every single year, state champion, and just
you
go
might
get
as
it
well,
over with?
Because
and
Karen Feldhouse is ready, baby.
Well, we had Coach Feldhouse on a few weeks ago, and he said this might be the best they've ever had.
I think it
best
is.
team they've ever had.
I didn't get to go Saturday, but somebody sent me a video, so I watched the video. It is rock solid. It's the best.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And me in a new role as the athletic director, you get to see a lot of new stuff and how our girls always cheered at our basketball games, but you never really knew behind the scenes what type of work they were putting in. I had never been to a cheerleading competition until we got to regionals.
Tell us what you think about that. How different is it?
It's a long day, I'm sure.
It is.
Well, but it's pretty awesome because you've got they had the cheerleading regionals at Dunbar, and you walk in and gosh, you've got a couple of thousand people that are there, and it's just like any other sport. I mean, except they're instead of playing on the court, you've got the mats that are down, and the girls are out there performing in front of a couple of thousand people. It's loud, it's exciting. You've got your parents and your home teams, and everybody's following each team and cheering for certain teams. So it's pretty cool. It was kind of an eye-opener for me, just what all's going on out there. But like I say, our girls were I thought phenomenal.
They were. They nailed it.
Yeah.
And Miss Feldhouse told me, she said, "Robbie, you don't know a lot about cheerleading." I said, "No, I don't." I said, "But they look good."
Yeah.
And then after I saw us perform,
And you see everyone
Saturday,
else perform.
Right, and you see
There's a
everybody
difference.
else perform. I saw, I said, Coach, I said, now I don't know a lot about cheerleading. I said, but we were better today than we were in region. And I said, we were dang good in region. I said, I think we won. And, she said, well, like kind of same thing she told me. Said, you don't know a lot about cheerleading. I said, you're right. I said, but I did tell her, I said, I'm 2 for 2. I've been to 2 events. We've won both of them. And I said,
you might be their good luck charm.
I think we're on a roll.
And you're going to have to go to nationals with them now.
Well, I told Brandon that I needed to look into getting a plane ticket and look into getting a hotel room. I could stay at Disney for a couple of days.
There you go. Don't speak. My wife might be close enough to hear it. I got to buy us a ticket to go as well.
Here's what I find wonderful, and I noticed some people were commenting on social media this past Saturday. David Jaggy was there. The principal, Fritz, was there. And Jaggy is, as in case people watching don't know, he's the Madison Central Band Director. You had the principal there. You had the athletic director there. I know Coach Centers went to their regional meet. I'm like, it is a wonderful effort to see everyone coming together.
Yeah.
How impressive is that?
Well, for me, I think, collaboration between the coaches is a big deal.
Yes.
Where you've got the girls who are cheering at a lot of games, they're kind of not at the forefront because, maybe the basketball team's playing, maybe the football team's playing.
Right.
This is their chance to be in the spotlight, and they need to be showcased.
Yeah.
And, other coaches, and I've told other coaches need to get out and see this kind of thing, just like, if I'm the girls' basketball coach, it's important for me to go out and watch the baseball team in the spring.
Yeah.
It's important for me to watch the football team in the fall. So it's a really, really good way to showcase all the talented females we have at Madison Central. And, if I'm not mistaken, we were medium champs this year, medium champs last year. The year before we won the state championship, I don't think it was in the medium division. It was in another division.
I think it was JV.
It may have been. So we're, Coach has got a really, really good thing going. We only have one senior.
Oh, wow.
So, I think our
future's bright.
Our future is very, very bright. She's really, really excited. I know she's really excited to take these girls to the national competition in a couple of weeks.
I'm excited for them.
Yeah, I think they're going to do really well. It would not surprise me a bit to see them bring home a national title.
Well, now, this Saturday is Madison Central's dance team. They have their state competition. Now, it is in Louisville. So it will be this Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, you're very busy.
I plan on trying to be at that. I went to my first regional competition.
He was there. I saw him.
Bryan Station. And it was, it's kind of like cheerleading. It's really exciting. You've got a lot of people there to watch a small number of girls, and these people in the stands, they're loud. I know our fans get
they get rowdy.
They get really, really hyped. It's pretty cool to watch. And the girls only get, 3 or so minutes to do their thing.
A lot of pressure packed into those 3 minutes.
And they run it so well. They give you a schedule of, when exactly the girls are on deck, when it's their time to warm up, when are they going to perform. And I'm telling you what, they are on it by the minute. So it is run really, really well. And, for somebody who's not seen this, it's really, really cool to go out and experience it. So it's been an eye-opener to me, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed supporting the kids. I've enjoyed seeing the parents. I'm kind of taking it all in, to be honest with you. But it's for me, my role's changed, and it's just good. It's just good to see the kids do well.
Yeah.
My goal is I want to make, not me, but I want Madison Central to be the best high school in the state, whether it's academics, whether it's athletics, and we got a lot of good things going on. We've got a lot of good things going on academically. We've got a lot of good things going on athletically. We've got a lot of veteran people that do a lot of really, really good work that, a lot of people don't know about. And for me, it's something that I kind of want to shine a light on.
Yeah.
If we can shine a light on, hey, what Mr. Jaggy's doing, or what Karen Feldhouse is doing, or, what our wrestling coach is doing. We want to try and do that.
You know, and that's what we do in the show, we feel like, too.
And that's what we're here for.
We are really trying, football and basketball, baseball, everybody knows those sports.
Sure.
But we want to reach those sports, too, but we want to reach them all.
We've been doing this show for a long time, Samantha.
Yes.
I started it 4 or 5 years ago when we started doing WBON. And one thing that we've noticed is whenever we really started diving into the local stuff, that's whenever the show really took off. And,
yes.
We've had local kids come on. And I'll tell you what was the biggest eye-opener for me was whenever we started talking about volleyball, and we went and did that volleyball game between Central and Southern.
I'm like, girls volleyball.
These girls are, first of all, they're athletic. They have to put in a lot of time. They're physical. It blew my mind to see how awesome athletes they were.
Right.
And you don't notice that because, before we came along or before whatever, you didn't really get that coverage that they deserve just as much as the football team or as the wrestling or the baseball team.
And we haven't even talked about volleyball tonight, but it's happening.
But so we appreciate you. Now, before we let you go, the question I really want to ask you is, what's the biggest difference between being head basketball coach and athletic director? Got to be a lot more sporting events than just being.
It is, but you know what? It really, the time you put in is really about the same because, you're with basketball, you're doing stuff all summer long. As soon as August gets here, you're doing stuff after school. What I'm doing now, I'm still putting the time in. You're a little bit more of just a person who organizes and get things ready. Where the common denominator that's the same with both of them is it all falls on you.
Yeah.
In both areas, as the head coach or as the athletic director, something goes wrong, it falls on me. So there's and I've always tried to take pride in being prepared. Making sure that everybody that's working under me is prepared and ready to do the job, so that our kids can be showcased, not the coaches, not the athletic director. That's not really the reason that I'm here. For me, it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids looking good. If you put on a good production as far as everything at the football game is ready to go. People come in, they really, really enjoy themselves. The product on the field is really good. Then, as an athletic director, it's been a good night. So for me,
well said.
Yeah, it's about the kids, number one, and then it's about getting something good on the field, the court, wherever, the mat. Something that the community feels good about, and something that the kids can represent the community, and they're great representatives of Madison Central, and they're great student athletes. So
you have to deal with us a lot more too, right? I think I've talked to him more already than I ever did. But
that's true.
And it's been, I've told a lot of people there for head coach and for the athletic director, there is no manual on how to do it.
True. That is true.
You learn by fire. And it's kind of like I tease Brad a lot. Things that he's doing now, he's like, hey, how'd you do this? I'm like, hey, you never had to do that when you're assistant, did you? There's so much more that goes into coaching that people don't know about, especially when you're the head person.
Yeah.
Everything falls on your shoulders. Your assistants can go home at night a lot of times and they sleep really, really peaceful, because if something doesn't happen that needs to happen, it's the head coach or the athletic director that gets the call. Yeah, it's on somebody else. So like I say, and it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of collaboration with other people. You want to make sure, just kind of like when you all tell me you are coming, we want to have stuff set up and ready to go for you. We want it to be as nice for everybody else as it can be. We want everybody to have a good experience.
Even the opposing team.
Sure.
Because they're in that press box too.
To me, this is the craziest thing too, because we go to a lot of schools and we do a lot of games. especially during football season. That's when we cover, the majority of the games. To me, I've never seen. I know when Brandon Fritz was here, or even over at Madison Southern or Estill County, because I've been in direct contact with every single one of the athletic directors. They always go out of their way for the opposing radio stations or TV stations or whatever the case is. Anytime I've ever went anywhere else, it's not that way.
Right.
We just had a crew go cover the Madison Southern game when they played Covington Catholic. They put our guys on the roof
of the press box.
And that's they got a big press box.
Sure.
They didn't go out of their way for anything. But that's just because everywhere, all of our local schools do a really good job of making sure that everybody else is taken care of. And we appreciate that, first of all, but it just goes to show you how much more they put into it than these other schools, which only care about, their own people. So I appreciate that. I appreciate how you guys take care of everybody else as well. Yeah.
All right, quick question.
We got to go, Burford.
I know, we got to go.
I'm clocking
Time's
out.
up, but is it more, I'm going to change tones just a little bit. Is it more important to win the UK football game against Virginia Tech, or is it more important to win the UK Louisville basketball game? That's our poll question today.
As big as a basketball fan I am, I think it's more important to win the football game.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the reason I say that is because the last 3 or 4 years they've got such a good thing going.
Yeah.
Keep that momentum up.
And recruiting.
A bowl win is going to be really, really huge for them.
Yeah.
Momentum-wise, it's going to be really huge for them recruiting-wise. And it kind of vaults Kentucky into the higher status of the SEC, whereas they've kind of been on the low rung of the ladder. It gives them I think they've been to a bowl 6 out of the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Whereas
A little bit more status.
Right. Whereas if Kentucky doesn't win the basketball game, the
we
name
could still
brand,
win the national championship.
The season's not over with.
The name brand is still there. That's never going to change with Kentucky basketball. It's a name brand.
Right.
It's a national brand.
What did everybody else think?
Well, our Facebook poll question is sponsored by the law office of Patrick O'Neill, and they said, as far as the votes go, 66% say beat Louisville in basketball, 34% say a bowl win in football. And that is brought to you by the law office of Patrick O'Neill. For legal advice on workers' compensation, SSI, Social Security benefits, and more, call 606-666-2990. He is located in Breathitt County, but he serves all over central and eastern Kentucky. I'm the same way, though. I did vote, basketball because, listen, it's like Central Southern, whatever.
Yeah.
You can win that one game.
though.
You can win that one game, and everybody else is fine no matter what you do the rest of the year. If Southern beats Central, Central beats Southern, they don't care if you go 0-29 the rest of the year. That one game's all that matters.
That's the way the football game was against Kentucky and Louisville.
Yeah.
That's how that season was going to end. Are we going to end on a high note, or and it meant we were going to a bowl game.
Yeah,
sure.
So 66% say beat Louisville in basketball, 34% say bowl win in football. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Classic begins on Friday. Is that correct?
Actually, Thursday night is the first 2 games.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was the Central play in either one of those?
Central plays Friday night.
Friday night against Breathitt County, and then they will play on Saturday versus Breathitt County. We will have both those games for you, so set us up. We'll be there on Friday and Saturday.
We'll be ready for you.
Madison Central girls are in action in the Jack Burford Chevrolet Classic. All kinds of awesome basketball this weekend, folks, over in Berea at the Holiday Classic over there. So get out, support your local schools. Mr. Cooksey, thank you for coming on with us. And for Jaden Johnson, our radio producer, for our TV producer, Austin Hanks, she is the lovely, talented Samantha Burford. I'm Michael Watkins.
Beautiful.
Listen, stay dry and stay warm, first of all, from all of us here at
us.
WBON TV on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings. The best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's the time of year we've all been waiting for. It's time again for the Jack Burford Chevrolet Holiday Classic Basketball Tournament at Madison Central High School in Richmond, Kentucky. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Holiday Classic dates are Thursday, December 19th through the evening of Sunday, December 22nd. For more information and ticket info, visit jackburford.com.
We can't wait to see you here for all the great holiday basketball action.
That's right, John. Go Indians and good luck to all the teams.